Shout my hip hop since 1987, niggas. Hip hop since 1987.com.
What's going on, y'all? This is another edition of Tapped In with Time Flies. Me being Time Flies. Make sure my son might call me. Put that in your mind. He been ducking my calls, but when I answer his calls, it's the end of the world.
That's how kids is, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just getting older and older every day, so I'm just adjusting to being on him. Like,
bro, when they slide this shit on you, like when you call them, they just slide and keep watching the YouTube video. What?
Right up.
No, yeah, like are you crazy?
Right up. Like, he don't even pay. He's like, whatever. He called me now. It's $8, 2K out.
Yeah, right.
I get the combo. It's like cut short. It's like, yo, Pop, I'm calling you because like he know how to get to me. Like he don't play around. He call me, ask how I'm doing or whatever. He literally just like, yeah. So Madden just came out.
Yeah.
You know,
just straight to it.
Everybody got mad. I'm the only one that ain't got it. I'm just like, you know what? I gotta make sure you got mad.
Yeah.
But that's like my mini. So you know.
No, for sure.
Because I'm definitely going to work phone call. So we here. Like I said, time flies. I know I haven't been as putting out much as content as I was, but it's a reason for that. If you follow me closely and just watch what I've been doing, then I'd have to explain myself. I'm a very, very busy person. I produce top 15 podcasts in the country right now. So I just haven't, been around as often. But I'm back. I'm never leaving. And I'm here with a friend of mine. I had to pretend like I know nothing about this guy,
Okay.
Even though we
podcast, you saying like you're not a pro with this shit. Like, look, man,
listen.
If I ain't been doing my shit, it's because I'm doing everything. You know.
But here, like I said, I'm a friend of this guy. We've been friends a couple years now. I've only just been able to watch his growth and up close and just how he evolved as an artist every single time he releases something. Also, like I said, one of the most intricate lyricists I feel like out right now.
Thank you.
And that guy is Armani. Like, I'll do with the introduction.
That was good. I mean, like a little shaky. It looked like you was trying to think about it. No, I'm playing. That was solid.
How you feeling, bro? What's going on?
I'm good, man. Like I said, I don't know how people feel about Thanksgiving nowadays. It's a coin toss. I never say, what I mean? I ate a lot of food yesterday. I do know that.
Cool.
Ate a lot of food yesterday. I did a little shopping, and yeah.
Eating food, I feel like it's kind of like the safe play. Like I might start telling people Happy Thursday. Yeah, Happy Thursday.
Happy Food Day. Happy, you know what I'm saying? Like
I don't want to get too deep, because then it's like it could go somewhere else in the conversation. It's just like, yo, just eat today, and that's just as safe.
Yeah, I got some these lobsters, like Caribbean style lobsters yesterday. Oh man.
For Thanksgiving, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was pescatarian for a minute. So
how's that going?
No,
you said for a minute.
For a minute, I'm doing whatever now. But like, I was pescatarian for a minute, so like, I don't do turkey. Like, it's just not that great to me. It's always dry. It's a coin. You never know like who will make the turkey, dark meat, white meat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Depending on how you race it. Like it's a lot. It's a lot of
I feel like
there's just a lot going to it.
Turkey has always been overrated to me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't say it because I was a kid.
Right.
And it was like if my mom or somebody heard me say, I don't want no turkey, and it's like, nigga. Like it's gonna be on that, but it's like, yo, I've never liked turkey.
Are you Muslim?
No, I'm not.
Do you eat pork?
Not really, not as of late.
Hey, you can't even be honest about that question, brother. You on air, you gotta say no. Here, you gotta say no. I should have asked you before we start recording.
No, I don't eat pork.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, every now and again. But no, it's like I said, some of the dishes on Thanksgiving just don't really. I'm really like I'm more so like a sides type. Like I'm here for this. Give me the mac.
Right.
Give me the collard, the greens. Like
I'm only saying it because like ham was my shit.
Yeah.
I was young boy, like ham. You know what I mean? Like with the pineapple in it.
Obviously,
I don't know. You never had that shit before. You're like,
no, I have.
You
I
have?
wasn't born Muslim.
Got you. Yeah, but I'm saying like ham, like giving up ham. I'm not Muslim, but like. Giving up ham? Man, nigga. Like, after that, I didn't celebrate Thanksgiving no more. What are y'all doing? At that point, it was another Thursday.
Did somebody kind of force your hand into, like, was it like a Armani decision to want to go with pescatarian, or was it like somebody like this aided you in?
So, I went vegan first. My dad passed away from cancer, and I just started, like, looking into, like, how cancer cells grow in the body and things like that. And they were saying a lot of this shit is just from what you eat, like
right.
what you eat on a daily basis that you don't really realize is like taking a toll on you long term. And once I started to study more about that, I was like, all right, well, let me just kind of cleanse myself out. Went vegan when I was living in LA, but I just lost so much weight, bro. I was fucking, you know what I mean? I was one of them, you know what I mean? And I had the body of a shooter, you know what I'm saying? You know, Philly niggas, I had a little joke, like, so I can't look like this no more. So at that point, I just started to eat like I was eating fish plates. I put salmon back into it, but I stopped eating meat. Now, pause. Now like I still.
Be safe here. Be safe here. We all give it
I don't know, man. This is going out.
You're right.
I might be safe here, but it might not be safe with
right. Edit on the clip. You know, that's all
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped eating like chicken and turkey or shit like that. But now, when I came back to Philly, I had started going to Fibbers again. You know Fibbers? Mm-hmm. Oh man, they house wings, bro. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that changed my mind on all that shit. So I was back.
So would you, before we leave the food talk alone, would you push that on like was you the guy that was like and all your family members, your brothers and all like, yo, listen, yo, you know what I'm saying, y'all from pescatarian.
I don't got. I can't push anything on anybody like pescatarian. Like I'm a contrarian of mostly everything, nigga. I'm not here for what y'all talking about on going to college. I'm not here for what y'all talking about on, you know what I'm saying, on majority of things. Even like my religion, I grew up Christian, but like as a Christian, I was like, oh no, that shit don't make sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like for the most part, I just, you know, I'm not really here to bury you in all these facts and you know, book novels as to why I do what I do. It's like, man, look, this is me. This is what works for me. Like whatever works for you is cool. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. Yeah. Listen, I'm the same way. I always tell them the time, like, are you Christian? I'm like, I don't subscribe to all that stuff. I believe it's a God, and we'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like literally, I don't ask me enough. Yeah. So you was talking about your childhood too. Let's get back to that. Like I said, I've been watching you closely over the years. I've seen you develop as an artist. A lot of people don't know. I'm actually in one of Armani's videos. Very, very, very short cameo.
It's a short video. Video like 30 minutes, 30 seconds long.
Yeah, let's work on that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm definitely when I first met you, it was kind of like I saw where you were at the time. Like I said, I was a fan of like just artistic style, like how you rap. Like I said, lyrical ability. Let's talk about just like your early childhood, like what got you into music, inspiration, all of that.
Let me tell you something. Real quick to pivot about my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I had just got these sneakers. What's the sneakers? The Simpsons. I got these. There's like a Simpsons Adidas collab. I don't know what it is. It's called like the Krusty Krab or some shit like that. I don't know. It was something I just seen on an app and I was like, fuck, I love these. Like, and I got them. I'm still like flipping a coin on whether or not I'm about to send these bitches back. But it had me thinking, and I bought them. And I was talking to one of my friends about it. I was like, yo, I remember in elementary school, middle school, I don't know. I was one of them niggas that like when we was at the lunch table, I'm grinding you the fuck up. Right. So somebody finally snapped back. I used to just get niggas out of there. I was getting everybody out of there. Somebody was like, fuck out of here. That's why you only got one pair of sneakers. You wear it with every pair, every dress, every like school shirt and shit. And I was stuck. I had these one pair of red sneakers, but it was it. And I wore with every colored dress shirt or every color school shirt that I had, bro. Like every, you know what I mean? So I was just looking through my closet and I'm like, God damn, bro. Like, and after all that, it was a red pair of, I'm not sure, G units. It was this red pair of G units.
You had to have a pair of G units.
Yeah, it was a red pair of G units.
I'm just raise my hand now.
Yeah. But since then, bro, I've not owned a pair of red sneakers since. I'm scarred. Because
of that?
Yeah, I'm scarred.
Children are cool, bro. Like, children are cool, bro. Like,
I was getting niggas out of here, though, bro, and then it came back to me one day, and I just couldn't take it. And I was like, oh, man. And, like, anytime after that, anytime I try to joke at the lunch table, they, man, red sneaker having that. I'm gonna sit back. But yeah, no, growing up, man, it was entertainment based always. Before I knew what entertainment was, it was like I just was center of attention. Like in the household, I was center of attention in my family. I was center of attention in the school. You know what I mean? Wherever I was at, it was like, oh, he's the one that's about to make everybody laugh. He's the one that's about to kind of like command the crowd and garner attention. So moving forward, kind of just like taking that into an art form, it was, you know, my whole childhood, we grew up around music. Like, you know, everybody in my family played a horn instrument, you know, like baritone saxophones, trumpets, trombones. My grandpa, he taught this guy, Jeff Bradshaw, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, he's a famous trombonist. He taught him how to play trombone. Okay. But we all grew up at this church called House of Prayer, and they all got, every house of prayer that you go to, they all got these brass, they have like a brass band. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I always grew up wanting to be like just involved in the shit. I always wanted to be that, and I never picked up an instrument, so I was like, fuck it. Well, I started like kind of as I think I heard an Eminem song. I heard an Eminem song one time, and I was like, damn, this shit kind of fly. And that was it. You know what I mean? The rest is history.
That was me with Wayne. I heard a Wayne song I was supposed to hear, and that was it. And I just fell in love with music, bro. Ever since then.
Yeah. What was your favorite Wayne mixtape?
That's where it gets tricky. My favorite Wayne mixtape, I feel like a lot of his music kind of raised me throughout my childhood. I think the Drought 3 might be my favorite. But then I got No Ceilings, and I still got Dedication 2. And it's like
Dedication 2 is
like literally all like his music raised me like all my childhood. But I wasn't supposed to be listening to his I let my brother hold my Xbox one time, right? The old first edition Xbox. We had the burn CDs.
Yeah.
On there. And I let him hold it for like 2 days or whatever. So I sent it to him. I didn't have no music on there. He sent it back with Lil Wayne, Carter One. He sent back with all this. I my favorite Chris Brown, Trey Songz, a bunch of stuff I want, Tupac, like a bunch of stuff I wasn't listening to. So that was like my introduction into like listening to music on my own and like realizing what I liked and what I didn't like. I was like, yo, like this shit is crazy. Like I would turn this shit all the way down whenever my mind would walk past. Like I'm not gonna listen to this shit.
Bro, I'm trying to think if it was my little sister or my niece. One of the two. I was trying to explain to them what burning a CD was. And I couldn't. We might, cause I'm like, bro, I was burning flamers and selling them bitches. Like I was getting these flamer CDs off. Like that's crazy.
Bro, I'm trying to think if it was my little sister or my niece. It's one of the two. I was trying to explain to them what burning a CD was. I couldn't. We might, cause I'm like, bro, I was burning flamers and selling them bitches. Like I was getting these flamer CDs off. Like that's crazy.
You know what's so crazy? Cause all right, real quick sidebar. We they just got like a new website out called like Space Hay or whatever. It's like
like MySpace emulator.
And I had the time of my life on it, bro.
Yeah.
Like just making my page and all that stuff. And my son, he like. I'm just like, yo, you wouldn't even understand. Like, this is like, we had to learn coding and all that stuff. Like, enjoying myself, trying to put my page together. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I'm trying to put a song on my page. So, like, what's song where I'm like, Out of My System by T-Pain. And I'm like, yo, I swear to God, I stayed up all night trying to put that on there, yo.
Oh, yeah. Yo, MySpace was the journey.
Kids, y'all would never understand.
MySpace was the journey, for sure.
I said, I had never, until like 2-3 years later, I guess like when Drake came out around that time, because it was finally over. I never liked Wayne. I'll say this. This is how I take this. I know it's how I take. But let me tell you why. How I grew up, you had to be competitive. And we all from the same city. It's a competitive city. So once I decided I wanted to be a rapper, I could never be like, yeah, but I really like that rapper though. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I was like, when everybody in my middle school was like, we on Wayne, you know what I mean? It's like 06, 07, like, you know, so whatever it was, like, every car that go by is playing a different Wayne song. Bro, I messaged the nigga on MySpace. I said, battle me. I'm like 10 years old. I said, battle me, bro. Yeah, right. But like, and it was like, the thing was, I say I don't like him, and what I mean by this, like, publicly, I didn't like him. Oh, my iPod?
Oh,
it was loaded. It was loaded. Niggas ain't know that, though. I mean, when it came up on the show, I skipped, yeah. But, like, but it was loaded.
It got so deep with me, like, so deep with me as a child, like, growing up, I couldn't like, not to say I couldn't like Jay-Z because he was Jay-Z, but it was like, that's who niggas like, man, he ain't the best because Jay-Z the best. How Wayne the best, Jay-Z the best, so I didn't like Jay-Z because I'm like, no, Wayne the best.
Right, yeah.
So it always like, so every time I come to like, listen to a new Jay-Z, man, I ain't listen to that shit, man.
Yeah.
Bro. Like, Wayne the best rapper.
No, I was that way with Eminem just because he got me into, like wanting to make hip hop music. I was like, no way Jay-Z's the best when Eminem exists. And like, you know, he had the stats to prove it. It was like, Eminem had Diamond Records. He had like, you know, he was one of the highest started, you know, he's the highest selling, but I say this, as I grew older and like got more involved in this shit, like, you know, and I started to become like my own artist and people started fucking with me, whatever, like more opportunities come, and you just get to see a lot more of this shit like close up. And I guess how Eminem aged as opposed to how Jay-Z aged is completely different. I had a friend involved with both sides. Shout out to my homie Drew. He played for Vic Mensa during the 444 tour, so we got to go backstage with Hov and all that shit, and then I had another friend that I can't remember how, but we was somewhere really close when Eminem played. It was the same year, 2018, I believe. But just watching both shows, I was like, wow, I'm on the Jay-Z side of the fence now. Like, you know what I mean? The way, because Jay-Z, I don't know how old he is, but like old as hell, he just like commanded a fucking stadium. Like a whole stadium. And I was like, I'm blown away. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't, not to say that Eminem wasn't doing that, and it might have been because it was at a festival, but I know like me trying to get into the Eminem songs that I like growing up and watching him perform it, it just didn't. It wasn't the same. Yeah, and there's no shade to Eminem. It just didn't hit me the same. It was like, you know, like, and I still love those records. I still go back and if they come up on my song, on my shuffle, I play them. But like, I just gained basically, there's no shade to Eminem, but I gained a new appreciation for.
That was me. Yeah, man. It was me getting older. I had to realize, like, yo, because everything he was saying back then that I was so against listening to made sense to me in my adult life. I'm just like, I'm so pissed that I really forced myself not to listen to this man.
But see, that's how I feel about I feel like when you're a kid,
like an adolescent, what made Outkast a really cool juxtaposition was when you're a kid, an adolescent who just really likes hip hop and you're just kind of getting into it. You like Big Boy because Big Boy is just like his flow, rhyme schemes, pattern. He's just running there. You like, oh, this shit sound tight as hell, whatever. But then as you grow up, you start to appreciate 3 Stacks more. You like, damn, the way he was putting these songs together. You know, exactly. You know what I'm saying? That I had to learn that when because I grew up. I had Speaker Box to Love Below. Only played Speaker Box, and whenever however old we was, I only played Speaker Box. When I was in like college, I gave Love Below a second run through, and I was like, God damn.
Hey, bro, you get older, you go back to sleep like, how did I not get this when I was, I guess, listening to like I said, your adult ears and just a better understanding for like how things are in life. It's like it makes sense. It makes sense. But shout out to Hov, I love both of y'all, man. If you want to give me a deal, bro, man. But the reason we asking like the early part of your childhood, like music inspiration, was because like when you go to listen to you, like I guess the people would kind of class you as like a Philly rap, right? But I guess you don't give off the more so typical sound of like a Philly artist or a Philly rapper.
I just found out Philly as a sound again. It's kind of like akin to another city, maybe like Detroit or.
Oh man, we go Detroit, we go Chicago, it's like a whole.
Well, like a lot of them got like that. It's like this. It's like offbeat, but it's on some different beat or something. Like yeah. Like I heard like because. You know, coming back into it, like this year, I really just got to, you know, sit down and just see what's going on, observe and shit. And I was like, you know, like I heard a lot of different names and like, you know, even when that thing you sent me, that when Tidal had put me up there talking about like the Philly artists, like I just, you know, took it in. I was like, oh, well, who are these artists? And as I like went through the list, I'm like, oh, they kind of all, you know, like they might not sound like each other, but they all mimic.
There's a lot of them that kind of had the similar, you know, there's some people that I know all of them, but it's like.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I do sound different from all of those, and it's mainly just because I don't know, like I Philly's a tough crowd.
That's why I purpose to ask you, because I'm like, how were you able to kind of shed that like towards though you don't feel any pressure to kind of want to make music like your peers or like anybody else, because like you can see what's working with somebody else. And it's like, I'm going to stick to doing what Armani does, and what Armani does great. But it's like, I know sometimes, like, you might get the pressure from, like, you know, social pressure, social media or whatever. But it's like, you kind of see what's working. Like, one person might pop up with a hit real quick, and it's like, oh, this new song is bubbling here and there. And it's kind of like, let me go try and do what this person do, that for me to see if it works for me. But you've always been Armani white.
Well, it's interesting, because under the hood, honestly, since the last time me and you sat down, I had a conversation with one of my good friends at the time. We were just talking about, I guess, real music, real hip hop, whatever it is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You use this here a lot.
Yeah. and I fell under the umbrella of what we were talking about, but I didn't even realize it at the time. But we were talking about like what real hip hop is, and like real hip hop is like the songs that got meaning, or it's like, you know, it's not just some bullshit you throw on. It ain't, you know what I mean? It's like it got a message in it. And my homie said, he said, good music is like fine china. He's like, you know, and we both just started like kind of piling onto this metaphor. It's like, you know, because fine china is like, you see it, you admire it, it's in your house, like, you know what I mean, you own it, and, you know, when people come by, they're like, oh shit, that's fine, that's a nice ass plate.
I like it.
They're never going to eat on it. They're never going to use it in their everyday life. When it's time to use the shit in their everyday life, they want a bullshit plate, or they want porcelain, or they want styrofoam. They want styrofoam a lot of times, so they can just throw that shit out when they're done with it. You know what I'm saying? Majority of the times, people just want something that they can just use for the moment
quick.
and get rid of it. What my mentor JV he tells me is he says music now is the soundtrack to what it is you're doing at that specific moment in your lifetime. So it's like, you know, we capture. We don't look at music as the moment anymore. Music is the soundtrack to the moment. Is this your song that you play every time you do laundry? Is this a song that you play when you want, like, I trademarked my little college experience, my small year and a half that I went with Channel Orange. You know, like when I was like, I graduated school early. So like I'm like 16 going to college classes. Channel Orange, I played it every goddamn day, walking back and forth to my little business classes. And so, but music becomes the soundtrack to these things. Music is not the moment in itself. Music is not the fine china. Music is the styrofoam that you're eating on. You know what I mean? And so when I started to think about my music, I was like, damn, this is fine china. Like you know, to credit myself, I went from like a moment of I had nothing to I had a lot of shit. Like I you know, one of the homies, Louis Futon, is an electronic producer. He took me when my father passed. He took me on tour with him. You know, he's like, yo, man, you're in a fucked up situation. Let me get you out the house. We did a song, we did another song. He took me on tour with him across the country, and he was playing like 2,000 cat, 4,000. When we went to Hollywood, we did the Palladium. We played 4,000 cat venues. Like we were playing big ass festivals, thousands of people. Like so, when I was making music, I started making it for thousands of people and not for a couple hundred people. You know what I'm saying? Not for an immediate audience. So the music, it reached masses, but it didn't connect the way that it needed to connect in an intimate way. And I learned that about myself. I learned that moving forward when I started to make records like Danny Mac. I was like, Danny Mac is not for me to try and get it to play it in front of thousands of people. It's just like, can I get 100 people to really fuck with this? You know, because when I you know, I guess when I thought about that conversation we had about Fine China, I said I got my brother. My brother had just got out of jail. So he more or less still connected to like a hood side of things or a hood perspective. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you met that. Yeah. And then I had my DJ who, like, you know, he was more or less like the only thing black about it was a skin tone. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying? Like so, and neither one of these people was playing the music that I was making. So I was like, I had to, you know, just become really introspective about it. It's like, what the fuck am I, you know, what am I doing wrong that's like missing both markets? You know what I'm saying? And I guess, you know, from there, I realized like I was just, you know, I wasn't necessarily targeting the people who I wanted to target. I was just hoping that they happened to listen or happened to enjoy it or whatever it was. And I started to make records more like Danny Mac, more like Watch Yourself, more like, you know, shit that I'm like, oh, I can imagine you guys playing this shit, you know. And I know, like, I had no problem even listening to people, fucking Baby to Baby, whatever Baby, Gunners, and whatever, you know, whoever it is. I had no problem listening to it and just kind of learning, like, oh, this is how they do it, because I knew when it was time for me to sit down and write, I was going to do my own shit anyway. Right. I was like, let me just draw influence and inspiration because I wanted to do something different. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm saying all that to say, though, like, when I started to do it that way, shit that I used to want so bad as a kid just came, and I didn't ask for it. You understand? Like, my little brother, he calls me from jail, and like we just been trying to get him. He's fighting a murder case right now for self-defense, but we've been trying to get him out for, you know, the past 2 years now, and I'm just, you know, anytime he called me, it's just like a breath of fresh air. He just, not for me, he wants a breath of fresh air. Like, he just wants to hear what's going on the outside. But he calls me, yo, I heard you on the radio last night. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? I'm chilling, nigga. I'm you know, he said, bro, Cosmic Kev is playing you on the radio. I said, get the fuck out of here, dog. And you know what I'm saying? But this is after I didn't want it. Like, or not that I didn't want it. I wanted it. Yeah, but you kind of just. But at that point, when I was making Wonderful, when I was making all these records that didn't necessarily fit, I was like, this don't land in either one of these markets, but I want them to pick it up. Please pick it up. I did radio campaigns. These people pushed me to spend $5-10 grand on radio campaigns, and it didn't land on none of those. Then when I just did it in a way that was organic, and I was like, well, let me play y'all game. You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, I mean, you gotta, I think always the for me, it's not even actually about sticking to who I am. It's about switching the strategy up. I say I look at every time any ball we shoot at the court, if it goes in, I'm like, how can I make that shit not hit the rim next time? If it misses, it's like, whoa, why did it miss? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm never sitting there like, oh man, we won, let's celebrate. It's like, well, how can we do it? How can we do it better? Yeah, how can we, what did we learn? How did we do it so good? You know what I'm saying? What's the things that we take from it, and how, where's the spots that we missed at? It don't matter if we went 99%. What is that 1%? Let's talk about the 1%. Let's sit down and really isolate on that 1%. So that's, and that's just my strategy. Personally, and work different for everybody.
Oh, definitely. And you going through that, I kind of feel like you kind of can hear it. Not to say like it makes the music more authentic and more organic and easier to create for you when you're not trying to target a specific audience. You're not trying to cater to this demographic. Or I'm not trying to do what this person is doing. It makes you go in there and just create whatever you feel like you want to create. And you can get, like I said, the influence is always a bad thing. Like you can listen to something and get influenced by it, and not necessarily do the same exact thing. Yeah, it's kind of like just play with it a little bit and still make whatever it is I'm going to make. I'm still going to be Armani. So you spoke on like the situation with your brother, but I also want to just talk about just Danny Mac too. Like, how was it when that song came out and just seeing the reaction and just like how everybody just kind of gravitated towards the record and like I'm sitting there watching the shot and all, the record, I already knew the record and listened to it, and I'm sitting there chilling, watching it, and shit just come on. I'm just like, hold on, mind it back.
Yeah.
I gotta tag my man.
Well, I say this to everybody, like, fans and supporters and other artists that's coming up. Like, sometimes this shit is a slow burn, and sometimes it's not
Trust
necessarily. Yeah, and sometimes it's not necessarily about people, like, the way we romanticize everything in the industry is what we see, and what we see a lot of times is first week sales. Yeah. So that's what people do. First week sales with this, first week sales with such and such and such. We didn't talk about that the album went platinum, and it took 9 to 12 the 30 months for the album to go platinum. We just talked about the first week sales, and we got quiet until it went platinum. Then we talked about it again, but it was so much work that happened in between that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's songs, the present day version of that is TikTok. There's songs that they throw on TikTok years after they went out, and they say, nah, man, like, that song didn't get the recognition that it deserved. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it again. And so with Danny Mac, we dropped Danny Mac, and I think that was the 4th of December. We dropped the 4th of December. That was after the whole jail thing that happened last year, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna be honest, I was terrified. Because when the jail shit happened,
we spoke about it.
And I was just like, nigga, I was like, man, I've been working at this shit since I was like 13, 14, something like that. So I'm like, damn, everything I worked for is about to be gone, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's over. This is it. I called everybody, bro. I called everybody. Tidal, Apple, Spotify, like anybody I knew. I called Shaka Zulu. So like, bro, anybody I knew, I called them. And, you know what I'm saying? And I had nothing to talk about. I was just kind of like, it was a call like, don't forget me, please. You know what I'm saying? But when it dropped, I just had my fingers crossed. And I had to snap out of it. I never had my fingers crossed for a release before. Mm-hmm. Like, anytime, I always just, I won't say wish the worst, but like, I always was just like, whatever it is that they excited about, we probably ain't going to get it, but we going to work until it happens. You understand? And when Danny Mac dropped, it didn't get that much. Like, it got a little bit. It was kind of like, oh shit, I can still do the same numbers I did before. That was it. And then it kind of slowly faded out, whatever, cool. It took me, I said, no, let me sit down. Let me just think about this. Let me go through content that we got. Let me do this, that, and the third. Blah. I took this one clip. We shot it when we were shooting the video. I was like, we in the Tesla. I said, I'm like, we're not even recording right now. We're just driving to the spot where we about to record it. I said, start rolling. And I start hanging out that bitch, and I'm rapping, and I seen this clip. I said, that's it. That's all we need. And then it went, however, I think 2 or 5 million, whatever, on Facebook. That page, all that go up on. You know what I'm saying?
So I couldn't not see it everywhere. Bullshit. I would get on there. I'm like, yo, I keep seeing this. I'm like, and that's what made me, not to cut you off, but I'm like, that's what made me so kind of like just happy to see for you, because it's kind of like when I heard it and when I seen it, I'm just like, I know this came organically. Like, this wasn't Armani trying to chase a sound or not trying to be himself or anybody else. So I'm like, me seeing it and hearing it in certain different places, or this artist or this celebrity is playing it here and there. I'm like, bro, I know that's just him. That's him being him. Like, I'm happy to see that shit worked out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's but that goes to show you, bro. Like, that first month was rough.
Yeah.
First month, and then you do it during the holidays. Like no matter what you do, it don't matter if you had the best week of your life, nigga. When Christmas roll around, it don't matter. And then right after that, New Year's roll around, it definitely don't matter. And when January 1st happens, bro, anything you did on December 31st, it's gone. It never existed. You understand? So like once that kicked in, I was like, all right, well look, let's make them remember again. And I think that's something that a lot of people just need to take into account. Like you don't just like, all right, we dropped it, whatever it is, whatever it's going to do is going to do. Because I'll tell you one thing, nigga, fans be like, yo, what's next?
Yeah, bro.
An hour after the release.
We live in a microwave era, bro.
Absolutely.
We live in a microwave era where it's like everybody's just looking for that instant gratification.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's why we got like apps like TikTok and thriving, because it's like, yo, we don't get the reaction we're looking for on here. That means it didn't work. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
Same thing, same from different song. See, like the store dance party, and not to say I dread that, like, because I don't hate everything everybody does, but it's kind of like I said, it's kind of taking people away from like this special, like creating art, like how they just go about just creating songs and creating moments. It's like you really doing it for this specific reason. Like it don't really mean as much to you. Like it don't really mean as much, and it's kind of like that's why I kind of dread that whole TikTok shit. I don't even got the app on my phone. My son hate me for it, but it's like, bro, I try to see. But I know you be on it, bro. I be seeing you on TikTok.
No, but you gotta be on it.
I do, but I got, like I said, my brothers and them, they keep me kind of just in the now and in the know what's going on. Like some stuff I just stay away from, but it's like I kind of get a grasp of what's going on.
No, but let me tell you something. It's not about what's going on TikTok. You gotta be going on TikTok. I mean, and I mean that because I started to see it like I learned this from the past however many apps that went on. It was like, I had a big following on Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
Had a big following.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I got it because of like Our Future. I think they got me into it. So I had a big following on Tumblr. I had like 50, 60, 70,000 followers, something like that. I don't remember. But after that, like, things started to migrate more and more towards like just straight Instagram. And I never really migrated all of my Tumblr friends and followers over to Instagram. Eventually, Tumblr died, and none of them came over. So then a lot of them came. They went to my Snapchat. I used to tell stories on Snapchat. Yeah. I would tell like long-winded stories, like just like through clicks and shit. Like you just skip to the next one. I would, to the point I would wake up, my little yawn Snapchat, it'd be like 5,000 views, 5,000 story views on the yawn. You know what I mean? So. Needless to say, when I start telling the story, it's like 10,000 people watching this. Yeah. I never once Instagram implemented stories, I didn't bring it in. I was like, they always like we rebelling against. I'm like, yeah, fuck Instagram, and we staying on Snapchat with it. But it died, bro. It died every time. It died, and what you notice is like, no matter how much you want to rebel against the system or rebel against the machine is a machine. Ain't no human ever beat a machine. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you could try and tug a war with a car. It's not gonna work. You understand? So it's like the way that TikTok is just evolving, and especially like, nigga, I don't even post on Instagram like that no more. Just I fight with the algorithm any chance I can. You know what I mean? And it's not because I want to. Like anytime I try and post, it's like, oh yeah, doing this again. So yeah, bro, I got damn near 40,000 followers, and I get like 300 likes now.
It's so I hate it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like I fight with that shit every time I post a picture on Instagram now. It's like, well, I took a freestyle that I wrote when I was down. I did this little freestyle to Ultra Light Beam. It was just stuck in my head.
Sidebar, Ultra Light Beam, first song to make me cry in the club, but keep on. When that first dropped, there was like a little moment.
Damn,
bro, this is playing gospel in the club.
Right, no, Ultra Light Beam that was some shit. So when I did a freestyle to it, I put it on Instagram. It got maybe like 1,100 views, or 1,100 likes, something like. I took that same freestyle and I put it on TikTok, and it got like, I want to say 130,000 likes, 130,000 likes to the 20,000 views to the 600,000 views that it got on TikTok. And I said, well, why am I doing this? Why am I playing this game? Why am I treating myself like this? Yeah. If this is where it's happening at, I'm not, you need to feed this monster, feed this machine. If this is what's going, so, and I'm just saying it because, like, we was the thing we were saying earlier. It's an Instagram page called Side Talk NYC. It's popular as hell now, but like I was on it for a couple months now, but like they got this thing going on TikTok now. Like you see these dogs in your front yard, I'm going hard, bing bong. Like but like something like that is just you take this short form content and then you just amplify it. Take the short form content and amplify it because, like you said, we live in a microwave society. People don't, no matter how much it is that you want to say. I had a friend that was just telling me, like, I want to drop, matter of fact, what wasn't you? It was like, I want to drop this 3-minute video.
Probably.
Yeah, I want to drop this 3-minute video. So I'll drop a 3-minute video. Why don't you drop a 30-second video? Why don't you, instead of dropping one 3-minute video, you know, give me 10 30-second videos. Fuck it. Give me, you know, I don't know the math. Give me however many 15-second videos. You know, yeah, like give me 20 15-second videos. Don't give me one 30 or 3-minute video because you shoot your shot, you blow your load, it's over. I told people on my team, I said like, you know, when we had a conversation to sit down, they say, do you want to do what's the next project gonna be? I said, I don't know, what is the next project gonna be? I'm not doing it. Yeah, I said, I'm not. They want me to make an album. I said no. I said I dropped Things We Lost in the Fire. I had about 7 songs that I wanted to put on that project that I didn't put on that project, and this is a very special, important, like personal topic to me. I lost my family in the house fire as a kid.
My next question, just the symbolization behind Things We Lost in the Fire. Like,
yeah, I lost my family in the house fire growing up. My best friend Melinda, that was my cousin. Like we just grew up side to side, like, you know, inseparable. I lost her. I lost my 2 younger cousins, Cheyenne and Keith. I think Cheyenne was maybe 7 years old at the time. Keith was 3 or 4, and I lost my aunt Kathy, who was like a mom, just like a second mom to me. And it was the only person left was my older cousin Khalil. Now that was devastating for me. You understand? Like it still hurts me to this day. And just even going through this project, it was just like moments where I just sat down and just couldn't, you know, like I had to just like stop, just take it in. Like when we post these songs, like the record Melinda that's on the project. Yeah. That was the first time I ever cried listening to music. I had a friend Chandy. He just played it for me one day. I came back from Chicago. He played it. Like, Melinda, what is left of me? He just freestyled it, and I just broke down. I broke down because I'll be honest, like a lot of those feelings I've been holding those in since 2006 when it happened. I went to grief counseling for it, all this shit. I just never really knew how to just let it go. Right. You know what I mean? When I go down to the grave site any chance I can, and just like saying, you know, drop flowers. But it was so much music I wanted to put on that project. But why? I say that in a way of saying, like, I could put all this on there and it could be, you know, it could be this piece, this, like, you know, this special art thing, like, you know, it'd be a special art piece, but we're in the business of selling a product, and they don't want that much of a product. Like, you know, it's like a personal product is cool, but does that drive sales? Does that drive, exactly. You know, does that drive the market? Is that going to implement something like, you know, big in this? Like, are we going to go in the direction of like, oh shit, this is going to give me amp for the next project? No, it's something really personal. So I said, okay, cool. You guys like Danny Mac. Let's give him another thing like that. Let's give him Watch Yourself. I'll put Grateful on there, and that Grateful was like a diluted version of what I really wanted to say on this project. And I'll take these 2 personal things. I made Too Many Angels. I made Too Many Angels like about the slight metaphor or whatever. It's just the 2 angels that I felt like I gained, and that was the kids, Cheyenne and Keith. But I wrote Too Many Angels. I recorded it as a voice memo, and we just put some music around it. And Melinda, you know, I put these records together, cool, boom, package that, ship it, and where I'm going with that is, if people want a album in theory. Andre 3000 said it. He's like, you want an album from me in theory, but you don't want an album from me. You're never going to appreciate an album from me the way I want you to appreciate an album from me. Drake just dropped, how many fucking songs is that?
22.
And nigga, Drake just dropped, the biggest artist in the world just dropped 22 songs, and niggas was telling me, yeah, I heard a little bit of it, I'm going to listen to it later. You going to listen to the biggest artist in the world later? Nigga, what y'all gonna do to me? You understand? Like, and so I know that it's like, for me, going all the way back to the TikTok thing, is the method of all of this, I got a friend who like he took 2 artists and blew them up on TikTok. I'm talking like one song got 30 million streams in 2.5 weeks or something like that. He blew him up on TikTok. But what he said was the strategy he gave them was, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but he was like, the strategy he gave him was make 20 TikToks about your song in 2 days. Make and post 20 TikToks about your song. Maybe they blow up, maybe they don't. But if they blow up, it's going to react really well. People are going to want that song. If it doesn't, fuck it. I guess we just learned something. It's not a good song. But the point of that is you got to stay in these people's faces. And you take that method and you just different nouns and verbs. You take 20 pieces of content. You got 20 different pages posting me jumping out of a Tesla. You got 20 different radio stations playing one song. You got 20 different, you got 20 different podcasts where I'm telling you this. You got 20 different podcasts that you working on. You got 20 different pieces of content. You got 20 different guests that you just did a podcast with. Whatever it is, you just take 20 pieces of content and you put that in somebody's face, and that's enough for somebody to say, all right, what the fuck is it? Like, what is this? I'll bite. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen it enough times. And that's, but that's the way that this microwave society works. Is like, yeah, we want it, and we want a lot of it. But we're going to be, I think we have to oversaturate the market somewhat, but you can't oversaturate the market all at one time and expect people to give you the reaction that you're supposed to get, and that's like, I can't drop a 20-track album right now. I feel like, another thing I learned in the past 2 years was, at that time, bro, when me and you did that music video, I was off the height of a lot of shit. I just came back from tour. I just came back from the first half of the tour with Ben Staples, and I wanted to drop a project. The team I was with was like, yo, we want to put you back on tour. I stayed on tour until the end of that year. Yeah. Made no sense to me whatsoever when I was doing it, but I said, this makes sense, I guess, guys. Like, so I'm doing tour and radio. I have no song that we're pushing. I'm just doing tour and radio. And when we finally dropped the project, all the hype was gone. It was just whatever. Whoever seen me on tour kind of cared, and and so. But it's you kind of have to, no matter what it is, you have to stay in these people's face, and you have to stay in these people's face in the right way, a strategic way, and whether that is now TikTok, Instagram, or some sort of short form content, it's just like like the moment you take a woosah, we are the machines at this point.
That's it. I kind of contribute all that to just how sketchy the algorithm has been on all the social sites, especially Instagram, bro. They kind of forced our hand to kind of go ahead. We learned about it. Like I said, I've learned how to just kind of navigate around. You're probably right. I probably do need to get more on TikTok because it's something that we hear about. Like, I understand it, but it's kind of like I'm so focused on just navigating the audience in one place. Like, let's get this audience to everybody here to kind of buy into this before we go spread out. But definitely got to make time to kind of just be spread out over all different types of this please, that please, that please. Let's put it here, let's put it there. So it's kind of something I'm learning. But like I said, bro, I definitely buy into what you something. We gonna talk more about that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna be on TikTok making a little dance.
Nah, don't dance. But
I'm on it. That's what we. So before we wrap up, just tell me where you at now, like mentally, just artistically. Like, I know you just put out a project, but just like let me know where you are right now. Like, what are you saying? Like, can we see anything else coming up in the next year, or like just?
For sure. Yeah. What I from that little rant I just went on. One day, bro, I just want to go on a rant. Like I want to go on the I am Einstein. Like I want to go on the Kanye joke. Sell it as an NFT, real rap. Are you into those?
I just shout out to Tori. I'm trying to see what's going on with that.
I just tried to get her to buy one of these things. So I play NFTs like not so much NFTs, but like I play all the crypto stuff like a stock market. I don't make money on the actual thing like NFTs or like metaverse. I just make money on the things behind it. So like the crypto stocks like Mana, Sand, and just a lot of those things. I just be trying to tell people that I know and I care about. I'm like, look, I just took this little thing, I put this little bit of money in it, and it turned into that money. And I'm like, and I know people are just kind of, the way we work as a civilization is we need proof of concept. And so I just be like, hey, look, this happened, so that's all I can tell you. You know what I mean? Maybe you should do it because it did that for me. You know what I mean?
They need to see it 3 years down the road, 3 years later. Like,
Yeah,
damn, I should have did it when you
but the way these work, bro. I got people spend so much time trying to understand something, and that's the beauty of I think a lot of things is we don't understand it, and that's what makes these things work, because the more you feel like you understand something, you feel like you control it, you feel like you know what to do. So if you fuck up, you're gonna be way more crucial and hard on yourself than you should be. I think when you don't understand something, there's a beauty in learning it as you're growing with it. And so like with this crypto stuff, I don't even think crypto knows crypto all the way. Like I think everybody's kind
of learning and adjusting at the same time.
Right, because NFTs and all this shit, like it existed, quote unquote, but that didn't really even exist prior to this year. Like the whole, the marketplace, OpenSea, Foundation, and different things like that. Like it wasn't. I think it was all an idea. Like everything in the world. This iPhone, this fucking gum, this hoodie I'm wearing, it's an idea. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I just say that to say like jump in, don't like the not that I won't say the less the better, you might lose some money, but but for me though, back to the rant I was just saying, I'm just gonna release music, not so much like I think the themes and things. I won't say it held me back, but it just kind of like it puts me in a pocket that I had to do something a certain way. Like for Things You Lost in the Fire, I made a lot of like really upbeat and hyper songs I just didn't want to release because I was like, but we're doing this like personal old thing. I'm just gonna release shit, and whether that's Russ every 2 weeks, whether that's like what I'm saying, whoever it is, like I'm just gonna put out as much music and just empty the hard drive. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that's really the plan for me next year. Just not even just next year. Like I think something might come out this last couple of weeks if I can still like squeeze it in. Pause. But other than that, now you count me. I thought it was the same song. You remember that? But yeah, other than that, it's just I'm releasing as much possible things, as much as I possibly can. What's going on with you, man? Talk to me. What's the next steps?
But honestly, I've been working. I'm here. I'm trying to. You are part of the rollout that we got. They can hear this and see after the fact. But I'm trying to just get some records out. I'm here trying to just work with as many Philly artists as I can because I want to just put out as much content as I can, just like for people that's here. Like I had an offer to kind of move to Atlanta and work there and do some media stuff there, but
you didn't take it.
No, it was because it was strictly going to be just Atlanta area based. And I'm like, we're good. I'm just like the next person. Like I up and leave whenever I get a chance. I'm like, I feel like there's a lot more left for me to do here, but I can't just leave here and turn my back on everybody.
How you feel about people that leave it?
To each his own. I just feel like I got a higher, like my calling. I kind of just feel like I'm not doing it. I can't do it. Like I've considered the offer and everything. I just like I can't. I owe myself so much more than that because I'm like, damn, I was looking for that person when I was coming up, and it was like nobody was there for me. It was like when people come I done ran into 4 people since I've been here, and they all like, yo, you do this, you do that. I seen you here and it's like, man, I wasn't here. They wouldn't be able to say that to me. Like, it's like,
now, do you believe in the glass ceiling that exists in Philadelphia?
Oh, I do. I'm very aware of it too.
Okay.
Very aware.
Now, how does that play into what you just said?
We just want to take it after this and see how it goes. See how it goes. Like it exists. I'm not, I'm not blind to it, but it's kind of like I know how we are in the city alone, like just in the sense of like the narrative and pushing us to cash and brand, and you can only go so far and limited resources and all that type of stuff. But it's like that's create, so we can stop those narratives and kind of just build a foundation here. So like I said, all the stuff I'm doing right now is very important for here, at least because I'm kind of bringing all the people I kind of linked up with and working with this past year, like a lot of big companies, big names, big people. Everything is coming back here, bringing everything back here. Let's start here. I don't want to go out and do this in this city, in New York. Let's start here in Philadelphia, Jersey. Like, how will we do it? I want to make sure to start here. So that's kind of what I've been up to, kind of what really is what I've been taking care of. And running around like popular podcasts you might have seen.
Absolutely. No, but I don't know how much you can go into it. But like, do you feel? Because I'm thinking about like the two contrast of like building up, building here and branching out, as opposed to like going out and getting it, and bringing it back. And do you feel like I guess how much more building do you have until you like, oh, okay, cool, we can, or do you ever plan on like going out?
I just feel like it's a feeling more so than like a I don't want to put like a time period, like just knowing, like I feel like knowing when I've done enough. Like I just want to have that feeling. Like it's not like let's set this mark and let's reach here or whatever like that. It's kind of like you'll know when you get there. But I just feel like people kind of more accepting to like when they see you, still can still see you here, you still doing this. I can come by your studio and see you. I can see you here, catch you on this street, whatever. More so than like if I leave and go away to Miami or LA or whatever, and then come back like, hey, y'all, look what I did, look what I took with that, and now I'm back here to kind of like, hey, but you left to do it. Like, so I'm kind of still tied here to the point to like, I want to be the person that's kind of like, yo, I did it here. Like, you can do it too. Like, it's easy. Well, not easy, but it's possible. So I'm just caught in that matrix right now. Bro. Like, it some days it's different for me, but. That's just where we at with right now. But
well, let me see this one last thing. I was just talking to Savage, Sean Smith.
Shout out to Savage.
Yeah, we still call him Savage. I was talking. He's still young Savage on my phone too. He's a young man. but I was talking to him about the whole shit. The hip hop started in the park, whatever. Like I'm like, just about the idea that hip hop was fun at first. I sent him the song I was working on, and because he's telling me he wanted to work on something. He's like, yeah, man, but like I feel like whatever we work on, it got to be fun, it got to be blah blah blah. Now when I was talking to him, I was like, we came up on the same ethics and ideas of what rap was. No bar could be wasted, no word could be wasted. Everything had to have some meaning. Everything was a metaphor. Everything was some sort of simile or like some punchline, a build up. And I was like, after a while, I was with a girl. I don't remember who it was, but I was with this girl, one of my friends, and she like I go to most women when it's not.
I was gonna say somebody watching is gonna get upset that you said I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, no. Well, she probably don't remember even saying this, but I go to most of like my women friends when it's time for them to like me to play my music just to see how they react to it, and she was like, it rhymed too much. Fuck me up because I'm like I thought that's what rap was, but what she said, back then it didn't make sense. It makes sense now. She was like, she said 2 Chainz. She cited 2 Chainz. I can't remember the other dude. She might have said like Big Sean or somebody else, but she was like, I don't want every word to rhyme. She was like, we kind of just want it to feel good. We just, it's like your music doesn't sound fun. And I was, when I was talking to Savage, I was like, it as much as we think is cool. They'd be like, yo, I got this crazy bar off, and and then it rhymed with that and that, but you ain't even realize that I brought up Adolf Hitler in the 3rd bar, and I was talking about like, as much as we think that shit is cool, bro, they don't give a fuck.
Man, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's so much better is like, was that a vibe? Like, did we enjoy that? Did we,
right.
if instead of the last bar being some crazy set up about some crazy punchlines like you could have bitch don't wear no shoes in my house, like what I'm saying, that was like damn, that's the one that we what I'm saying, that's the one that we gonna say at the concert. So but I was I brought that up because I think we still battle we still go through a similar battle. I think you want this feel like you haven't done enough here, like, or you have that constant battle, like, oh, but what they gonna think about if I do this or that, like, that's a lot of times when I'm just writing, I'm like, man, I just said some weak shit, like, what they gonna think about if I, what I mean, and there's, it's just funny how how we play that, how that shit play out.
Yeah, bro, it definitely, I feel like all of us, like, if you're creative here or whatever, we all kind of different lanes, different media, artists, whatever it is, I kind of think we all go through the same kinds of, I want to say, what's the word? Not saying situation, but kind of like we all just go through this method. And it's kind of like, until we get to the point like, well, when do you know that you've made it, quote unquote? Mm-hmm. When do you know that you've done enough? When do you? And it's kind of like you don't really know. Like you're never gonna know when you've done it. But it's kind of like when I get to the feeling of like I feel like I've done all I can offer. Like hopefully that helped inspire or spark the next model, the next person to come along. Just kind of just set a precedent. Like you come through it. You follow after me. It's like that's kind of what it always has been about for me. Like I tell people all the time, it should have always been bigger than me. Still is. Mm-hmm. Right? So I still have to say like that's I honestly, like I said, I battle with it every single day. I still think about some time like, damn, if I would have never, I should have took that off in Atlanta. And like then I would never been able to, land a deal with me and Mona working together and building her podcast up. And now I'm working with 3 other shows, and it's kind of like it's everyday battle, bro. But we'll get there. We still figuring it out. I ain't got it all figured out. Listen, I'll be the first to tell y'all. Listen, I ain't got everything figured out at all.
Nah, absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
Pretend like I do, but
that's the beauty in it. That's always gonna be the beauty.
That's what it takes. So. But man, I just want to say, bro, I appreciate you, bro. I feel like I really ain't seen you in like 5 years.
It's been a while. It has been a whole pandemic.
It has. That's probably 3 years.
I ain't gonna lie, I know it's nothing in this Red Bull, but I still do it.
Oh yeah, it look good for the cameras. So
yeah.
But no, I really do appreciate you, bro, for taking the time to sit down with me. Like again, just make sure I go check my man out. Let them know where they can follow if they don't know you already.
It's Armani Blanco on everything, like the color, or like the brand, like the color, but in Spanish. Armani White is the name, like the brand, like the color in English. Yeah.
Add my man on TikTok. Yo, add my TikTok too after this, because when the time is dropped, I'm going to have one made.
Yeah, man. Make that TikTok, bro. Stop playing on it.
I'm on there, and I'm doing all the, whatever the dances is, I'm on it. But yeah, we appreciate y'all listening. Keep subscribing, keep streaming, keep listening, keep supporting. That's all I can ask for. I hope you just follow along. So appreciate it.
Peace.
Shout my hip hop since 1987, niggas. Hip hop since 1987.com.